What makes a high performing team? Hi team, Shondell from Life Puzzle here. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now there's three words that I want you to remember, and that is clarity, focus, and also detail and finishing. Okay. As we talk about this today, I'm just reflecting on the last couple of days. It's second week in for a lot of people in our coaching community and our training community, and at Life Puzzle we do loads of leadership training. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to highlight some of the synergies around the check-in points that we'd had with a number of different coaching clients over the last couple of weeks. And the key indicators of what we've seen about the differences or the contrasts between what actually makes a high performing team versus what makes a team that sort of plodded along and they may have achieved some results, but they just haven't seemed to get the traction that perhaps some other teams have got with relation to their goals and their outcomes. And I think this is a super important factor for those of you that have teams. Doesn't matter which industry that you're in. If you've got teams of people that are responsible for doing certain elements of client delivery, or they might be involved in administration, or operationally there might be a number of different things that they need to do. So if you have a team, if you have someone supporting you in your business or in your business unit, then this is definitely something that you want to stay on for, because I've got a number of tips that are just really tiny little small things that make a huge difference in terms of high performing teams' attitudes. Now, this isn't about mindset. This isn't about attitude. There's a lot of factors that go into ensuring that, teams are performing in all different levels. But this by far is one simple thing that I guarantee you, if you take this and you implement it, even within the next 7 days, you will see a phenomenal shift in terms of the harmony that's happening in teams. And so, as I said, when we contrasted and did some check-ins with a number of different clients that we've been working with, most businesses have been back either a week or they're into their second week back. A number of people were updating us around their progress on how they finished the year and how they have started their first week back. And I often reflect, a mentor of mine says, win the morning, win the day, win the day, win the week, win the week, win the month, win the month, win the quarter, win the year. And so, as you know, how we start is often how we finish. So in this review of the different teams that we've been speaking to across a number of different industries, different business sizes, what we found as being one of the highest contributing factors to what actually changed a high performing team versus a team that had plodded along was a simple process of clarity and visibility. And so what I mean by that, and in a previous live, I just did an overview around our goals and what stops people from actually finishing them. And I'm not going to recap all of that, but there was a fundamental principle around dream, goal, plan, action. And I think what can happen, particularly in larger businesses with bigger teams, what can happen is we can set a vision, or we can set an intention or a goal for what we want to achieve for a particular period of time. And everybody's in line with what it is the outcome that we need to achieve. What many people struggle with, though, is actually taking that vision or that goal or that big outcome and working out, what do I need to do in the next 15 minutes to make sure that I'm progressing on that? And so, as I said, the huge contrast that we'd seen was the difference between a team that was performing really well and that had progressed on their projects, on their actions, on the outcomes, on the things that took more than like a day to do, where multiple people were involved in progressing that project forward. The one key thing was clarity and visibility of what needed to be done. And so with the teams that had not progressed their goals, what I got in terms of feedback from them was a lot of story. So a lot of information about what the blockers were, or what stopped them, or how they got held up, or how they went to progress something and then there was this obstacle or that challenge. And unfortunately, while some of them were very valid, I would say reasons in inverted commas, it didn't necessarily change the outcome. And so they're behind the 8 ball in terms of what they want to achieve. There wasn't a lot of problem solving thinking in terms of, okay, well, we've got an obstacle here. What do we need to do to get around that? Whereas with the teams that were high performing, when I say visible clarity, when I say the focus and finish, I want you to, I'm going to reference a quote that says, energy flows where attention goes. So if my attention is only on the big picture item, and I don't have the attention in terms of trying to chunk down to what is the one little task that I need to do that will contribute to that overall outcome, then I'm probably going to get lost in procrastination. I'm probably going to get lost in distraction. Or worse than that, I might actually be totally on track with all the things that I need to do, but because our common goals as a team are not visible in those bite-sized chunks or those bite-sized pieces in a place where we can go, hey, how are you going with that? Or what's your progress update on that? Or where did that thing come from? What's going on with that at the moment? And work collaboratively, then what can happen is we start to silo ourselves within the same department, and there might be one really top performing team member who's ticking off all their action items, or they're ticking off all of their ownership on their progression tasks, but they might be waiting for someone else on the team who wasn't clear on what it was that they needed to get done that is actually blocking that other person. And so when we had some of these discussions, it was really interesting to see, and I'm going to talk about one company in particular, or one team in particular that we were working with, where not only did they have visible action items that were chunked down, or micro tasks within the one big task or the one big project, but it was in a place that was visible to every single person on the team. They had people's names next to it. They had dates on those things. And in their rhythm of team meetings and check-ins and things like that, they would quickly bring up this list to make it visible to everybody and do a quick snapshot to ask, is anything blocked at the moment? Is there anything stopping you? Aren't you on track with that? Do you need help? Do you need support? And that team that I'm referring to actually achieved a significant amount of momentum in this particular project and their results. And that translated to the bottom line. It translated into team efficiency. It translated into team harmony. And it certainly made everybody feel super accomplished as far as the fact that they could get things moving and make things happen. And so my question to you today is your goal or your outcome or what you're wanting to do, not just for this month or this year, but for your business and your business unit. I bet that you can say that everyone on the team knows what it is that you're trying to achieve. But for a lot of leaders, this is the one barrier that I see, and I want to encourage you to have a think about this today. Is it really clear to you? And if so, fantastic, kudos to you. If not, please start there and make sure that you have the clarity that you need, because as the leader of the business, your team is going to be looking to you. They're going to be looking to get the tempo and the energy and the pace from the clarity, the confidence and the certainty that you have as the owner, as the leader of the department, as the leader of the business unit or the supervisor. So make sure that you have that laser focused clarity. And then the second thing, and this is where a lot of our leaders come undone, is it's very clear and it's very visible to them, and they make the assumption that their team know exactly what it is that they need to do. And so I want you to ask yourself the question, do they get it? Do they want it? And can they do it? So as you look at what it takes in order to achieve that particular goal or that particular project or that particular outcome, ask yourself the question, does every single team member actually have a commitment to understanding what it is that they need to do, right down to the micro tasks that are involved in completing in order to progress that forward? Secondly, do they actually get it is that first piece. Then do they want it? So is there a what's in it for me connection to the actions that they're doing on how that serves and makes their life better? So for example, a really easy one to understand is generally salespeople, if they achieve their results, they often will get commission. So the what's in it for me is getting extra money towards those things that they want. From an administrational perspective or a client services perspective, often it's about reducing the stress of client complaints, or being, making sure that they're making a really good impression for their leaders and their managers within the company. So what's their personal what's in it for me in relation to those micro tasks and the projects? And then the final thing is, can they do it? And this is really skills and drills training in terms of functional teaching. And so sometimes you might find that your team are committed and willing to do the goals that are set out for them. But there might be some breakdowns in terms of the way in which they approach those tasks, or even how they know how to use the technology that you might have in your business. Or it might be a soft skills thing that they're more than happy to have a conversation with a customer or a client, but they get a bit concerned about what would happen if they got this inquiry, or what if they got that objection. And so when we talk about can they do it, that's where you need to look at committing yourself to the point where you've actually got regular check-ins, not just where you're checking in on the visibility of the task, but also getting interested with your team and saying, So do you feel like you know everything you need to know about making sure that this happens? Are there any blockers? And in some cases, it might be worthwhile on different occasions to actually do a shadowing session and actually see how people are doing it, to see if there's a way that it can be optimized, or there might be a little tweak or a little skill or a little shortcut that could be the difference that makes the difference in terms of productivity, profitability, and overall team happiness. So guys, what makes a high-performing team? Clarity, visibility, and being able to check in on that. So I trust that you found this useful, and I look forward to getting any comments or feedback you might have about things that you're doing in your team and how you're already winning the month so that you can win the quarter and win the year. And until we meet again, it's Shondell from Life Puzzle. Be well and be empowered. Bye for now, team. Take care.